a different Vulture song at some point, huh?
I can also pop in with the castle one if you want.
It's up to you if you want.
You can alternate. I'll be in the wait list, I guess.
Cool.
Oh, I'll join too.
Shut the fuck up! Get out of here! No, I will ban you. I swear to God. And I don't know if I can unban people.
You can. I believe you can unban people.
All right.
All right.
When do you want to talk to this bitch?
Hey, be nice to him.
Well, you gotta talk to this newly made robot.
Stop that.
As Charlie would say, perfected individual.
It's incorrect.
Charlie doesn't think robots are perfected.
What about Red?
Following.
Red is a sad friend.
Of course. You can go see Red in the basement, by the way. Sad.
Following probably one of the most recent therapy sessions after it's done. Castle will have probably asked Vulture when he's available to talk. Non-session.
I imagine you probably stop him because you're just like, when you be able to say something like, I'll be available for our next appointment. And you're like, no.
Hold it, stop.
Stop right there. He would say that he's not very ever.
I'm sorry, you're cutting
work
out.
hours. That is because we are in Discord and not Skype.
Do you want to change would changing the region help?
Does not, actually.
Oh,
we tested. It's weird. It's just Discord itself that does not like me anymore.
Why would it suddenly stop liking you?
I don't know.
Have you messed with your sensitivity?
Oh yeah. It's not that. It's the RTC connection.
Oh dear.
It just down randomly. Like right now, it's supposedly good, but I don't know if I'm actually cutting out or not.
You are cutting out a little bit, but it's not terrible.
So yeah, it's a rocky road. My RTC connection.
My Pat.
Yeah. I can try changing. It'd be better though.
Up to you.
Let's go central. Nope. Immediate red zone.
Oh no. You're not cutting out for me though.
It's bound. Better. Oh no, we'll figure it out.
Okay, so what was it he had said?
Tell me when I cut out and if I'm cutting out.
I will.
Okay, so he said that goes much at all other than work hours.
A, you cut out. B, what was the before other than work hours?
This guy, fuck this. I'm done.
All right, let's go.
I'm calling SCP.
I'll meet you there. Slutty containment.
Hate this.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, why are you sorry?
You're trapped.
I gotta tell Shark that we gotta move.
We gotta go, Shark. We gotta move.
I forgot his Cheryl now. Alright. What's my music doing? Did it mute itself again?
It does that.
I have it set to not do that anymore, but it still does that. It's weird. Either way, I can still hear it because it's weird how it's not a Skype setting, it's a Windows setting that does it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like you can go to your sound and you can tell it to stop producing noise during communications.
Oh shit. Is that in sound settings?
Yeah, so if you right click your little headphones thing or your little sound icon, go to sounds. And then you have the playback setting, recording setting, sound setting, communications. And you click on communications.
So open sound settings.
Yep.
And then communications.
Yep. When Windows detects communications activity, you can set it to either mute all other sounds, reduce the volume by a certain amount, or do nothing.
Oh.
And that doesn't fix it entirely. It still cuts down the noise a little bit. I don't know why, but you can at least hear more things now, and then you can just raise the volume on Plug DJ as it was intended to be raised to the full volume, and then you can hear it normally.
Because Skype is like, I'm gonna hijack your entire computer.
Can't find this out. Oh wait, manage sound devices maybe? I have no idea where you went to.
If you want to share screen, I can direct you.
It's alright. It's working fine now. I know how to fix it, like, when it happens.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, then, frickin'...
Whatever. It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, let's get the show on the road, then.
Hell yeah.
So, he says he's pretty much free when he's not working.
When he's not working?
Yes.
Okay. And Castle nods. Does he know Vulture's general schedule then?
Oh, you probably have that.
Okay.
Easy to obtain.
Alright, then he'd offer sometime later that week to just meet up, and he'll offer a time in when she's available.
Meet up to do what exactly?
Just one talk. Off professional hours.
Thanks for a bit. Thanks for a bit.
Empathies.
I don't see why that's a problem. Okay, you may empathy.
I will empathy.
Bitch.
Don't you dare call me a bitch in my house.
Can't you just leave a man alone?
No. I'm a professional. That's all I do.
I'm a professional. You got no clue.
Okay. Alright. See you then.
Nods. Makes his way out. Wishes you a good afternoon. And is gone.
Nods after.
And then you guys can meet up. Where would you have liked to meet up with him?
Probably, since we can't leave the base because we're in the middle of the goddamn ocean,
The ocean!
it's probably just outside by one of the railings. Not one of the railings in which you're not allowed to look at the whales, but just a outside area.
Well, you just can't question.
Huh?
Can
So
look,
what?
you just
Can't
can't
question what?
Exactly. Nah, you're getting the hang of it.
Just took me a week.
Alright. Well, yeah, you'll be there. About like a minute early. If you're early or you're right on time. Either way, he's there.
Hassel kind of gives him a lazy salute as he walks up. Hey.
Hello there, Doctor.
Doctor. And he walks up until he kind of gets close enough to Vulture for easy conversation. I wanted to talk to you off hours to, as a friend, check how you're doing.
Oh, I see.
Non-professional. I don't want a canned answer.
Oh yeah, I thought they were entertaining to most people. Depends on his voice, but give me a second and I'll get it back.
Fuck, I dropped it. What? Vulture's voice.
I left it on my table, so let me go get it quickly. And I'm... There, I think I got it. Oh shit!
Hmm?
Music suddenly just jumped up in volume. I don't know why. Everything got louder.
I'm sorry. I just
Like,
imagine him just like, oh shit.
oh shit. Anyway, I always thought that they were apparently appealing. Sure.
I'm not saying they're not, but they're also very calculated.
I see. I suppose I should take that as a compliment, both in the calculated aspect and in the attractiveness.
I'm not stopping you from doing so.
Nods. Would you like this? Would you like this?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Would you like to sit somewhere, or would you rather do this standing?
He looks and kind of blinks. Let's sit. My
He
legs could use
nods.
a rest.
He nods. Probably find some place to sit nearby.
He'll plop down, adjust his hat.
Sits calmly. How have you been doing, Doctor? Castle.
He looks like he's about to say something, but then stops as Vulture corrects himself. And his expression softens just a little bit. Doing the best I can. Busy.
Always are.
I set my stove on fire accidentally about a week ago.
And why is that?
I don't know. Honestly, we were just trying to cook something that wasn't. What was it?
We?
Oh, Rudy and I.
I see.
I can't remember what we cooked. Jesus, it's been a week. Busy, I suppose, is a good answer.
Especially without you adhering to your usual habits.
Well,
How has that been? I didn't mean for it to be low. Just an observation, and a troubling one at that, especially for, well, with all that happened, and with all that you deal with. How is that going?
I should quit. That's pretty much the skinny of it. I mean, biologically, now more than ever, I really should quit. But I'm stubborn as hell, and that's just the fact of the matter.
Hmm.
I'm sure you understand how that is.
It's not always a bad thing.
Not always. How about yourself? I asked
Quite
you
all right,
first.
Doctor. Castle. It's becoming more of a habit now, it seems.
Referring to me as doctor?
Referring to anyone by their title.
Oh my fucking god.
You okay?
9 success empathy.
Did you just you just did a sneak empathy again? What do you what?
I
do-
just
what was
read
you, what
his
were you
soul.
empathying?
He said he was
Well-
fine.
You can see the robotic machinations of a tin man.
Anything else I see is I pierced the goddamn veil.
Yeah, he's fine, but not in a healthy way. You're seeing someone that's essentially accepting and saying they're fine and accepting that they're fine. Like whatever they're feeling right now, this is fine. This is as good as that can get. That's fine.
Okay.
So I'll be fine, right? It's like almost a denial of trauma or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get you.
And that acceptance isn't forced per se. It's not like this is a coping mechanism or anything like that. This acceptance is a answer he has come to. Like it is, he's gone through his full heroic story shift, his character development, and he's gotten to this point. Like it
He's
was a natural progression to this
yeah.
state.
He's done the tests, and this is the conclusion he came to.
Yes.
Okay. I guess it is kind of habit, isn't it?
Not.
Look, I didn't mean for, first of all, for it to become like that.
Like what?
Strictly
Have
therapist-patient relationship.
things have been quite busy lately, along with everything that's happened.
Hmm.
I would be more worried about you, Castle, but you've had your stir-fry Thursdays, I believe they're called, with Rudy. I hope that is enough of a break for you.
I have mine, but I don't think you have anything like that, do you, Vulture?
I'm not going any under nearly as much stress as you are. I get enough social time during work hours. Other than that, it is not required. Not strictly. Health-wise, I understand that social time is very important, but I
You
don't
just
require
choose
more
not
of it.
to adhere to it. I... It's just a shift. I've noticed.
Mhm.
I guess. First time I tried to get you in my office to try and get you to talk, you tricked me into going out for mini golf.
Oh, that was a marvelous time.
It was. But I just want you to know that you don't have to isolate yourself. And you've heard this from these exact words from me in there, and he points towards the walls. He's like, but that's different. Because in there, I have to tell you that from a professional standpoint, tell you to what, how to cope, how to handle, get a hobby.
All good advice.
All good advice, but it's different when it's coming from a wall. It's canned. Doesn't help that there's not a lot of options anymore. Motions. To the sky, because you can't motion to the ocean, because there's nothing in the ocean. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is when you have more free time, you should do something, just anything, so you're not spending it alone all the time.
I do spend quite a lot of time with people, you know.
You're gonna say at work.
Have I become that predictable?
I'm good at reading people, but you are a little predictable.
You see traces of a smile on his face. Well, on my off time, there has been some people that have come to speak with me.
Oh,
I suppose that counts.
should I wager a guess?
If you wish.
Give me a number. How many people here am I guessing?
In most recent memory, that I can be trustful of, I suppose, 3.
3. Is Arabella one of them?
That is 1, I believe.
Right, I'm 1 of 3. He blinks.
Hold on, should we set stakes?
Should.
You fancy yourself a gambling man, I've heard from recent
Everyone?
reports.
Big sword. Who sold me out? It's probably Hodak, wasn't it?
He seemed to be quite inspired by your work.
I am completely humbled by that, coming from Hodak. He smiles. It's a small, kind of tired smile, but it is a smile. Also, the fact that it's a little insane to think that he saw me while I was pretty much absolutely shitting myself.
He's seen a lot of people at their worsts.
Wouldn't call it my worst now. Come on.
There was a lot of sweat. And that's not even from what was seen. That's mostly from the after-action reports of you getting declassified. I would say you shit bricks, but you didn't actually literally shit bricks.
I think they'd be concerned if I did. I think that would be definitely something that they'd be looking for upon coming out
definitely.
with contact of an SCP. Dr. Castle went in, he disarmed a bomb, no big deal. He also shitting bricks now.
You should do well to be more careful, though, Castle. Last time you barely came home.
Yeah, well, they may be tiny, visually plastic people, but they are still people. Couldn't just let that happen to them.
You are a person as well, Doctor, and you have a place here.
I know. I'm not going out there to die, I promise.
Well, the phrase that you came home in pieces is almost truthful. The last state I saw you in, coming from there.
Do you like my wheelchair?
It was quite rad,
Thanks.
but I wouldn't like to see you in another one. Not exactly an effective image for those seeking help from you.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. But I digress. We were raising the stakes.
Not.
What are you thinking?
Nothing at the moment.
I meant as far as the bet.
Nothing at the moment.
I walked into that
And
one.
his hands come up to his chin to actually start thinking. And you see another trace of a smile. I say trace because, of course, his mouth is covered, so you can only tell based off the wrinkles around the lower part of his mask
Mm-hmm.
and his eyes.
Castle leans back in his chair and kind of scratches his goatee as he thinks. Can't even come up with anything.
Hmm. I suppose the common, uh, more accurately, trope like wages would also be available.
I'm listening.
Hmm. If you get them all right, I will follow one of your instructions to the letter. Or, I suppose, as kids would say, do whatever I say, but I'm only going to limit it to one. I have dignity, you know.
Okay. And if I lose, which I probably will, same thing, only reversed.
If you wish.
I'm not a creative person. I can't come up with anything.
But it has been decided. Claps his hands together.
He has a small expression of, well, time to lose. Two more people.
Hmm.
I don't imagine I get hints.
If you wish.
I I won't turn down hints.
I'll say you get one hint per people that need to guess.
Okay.
So 3 hints all in all.
3 hints? I can work with 3 hints. So I already have Arabella down, so I might as well use that hint for this next person.
Hmm. They are quite pessimistic.
Well, that about describes almost everyone on base. Or at least in the research division.
See, I've narrowed it down for you.
If I ask a question and you answer it, does that count as a hint?
Yes,
Presses his lips together.
that counts as one.
Great. Odak?
I shall be I shall be merciful and give that one back.
Oh, thank you. You're very charitable. I appreciate it.
I try.
I'll use this to feed my family.
Nods.
Odak?
Nods.
Oh, nice. Okay. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Hint for the last person.
They are also quite stubborn. Or at least they can be.
But they're not always.
I don't believe I have interacted with them enough to say one way or the other.
Let's think. I'm gonna go on a limb here. Would it be Dr. Spine?
Unfortunately, not many people have seen her around.
You included.
Me included.
Alright. Guess that's a loss for me then.
I'll allow you to use your last hint as an extra life.
Alright.
Have you spoken with Dr. Spine recently, actually?
I've seen Spine in my office.
And I suppose doctor-patient confidentiality comes into play then?
I'm afraid so. But
I'll get what I can in the file then.
I can say that I think she'd appreciate anyone speaking to her outside of work. If you're
I
looking
see.
for someone to speak to.
I am simply asking on account of work reasons. Many people are concerned.
A good reason to be. She'll recover, I think. It'll just take
It's
time.
usually never good coming from you.
Well, he shrugs. I could say a lot of things about a lot of people here that wouldn't sound good coming from me.
You have reason and professional right to, I suppose.
It's true. I believe you have access to the file, right?
I do.
It's all in there if you need to check. She's sound to work.
Are you sure?
I've got weekly appointments with her if I see any change. I'll pull her from the position temporarily.
Very good then.
Her health is my #1 priority.
Of course. Well then, Castle. Continue.
Nice catch.
I appear to have mixed work. I apologize.
He waves his hand. No need to apologize. Force of habit. Alright. Stubborn. But you've only known them. For the time you've known them, they are stubborn, but not all the time.
No. I say that in the case that I'm not with them 24/7.
Okay.
Or at least I haven't been with them enough to fill in that space of being with them 24/7. Though I suppose I am making this more complicated than it needs to be.
Well, it helps a little bit, I think.
Hmm.
What do I need to do for another hint?
He kind of saddles back in his chair a little bit to think.
Just leans back, waiting. Threads his fingers together.
Hmm. How about you tell me the full weight of your actual feelings?
Huh. You sure you want that?
I am in the HR department, Castle.
You're off duty right now, Vulture.
My friends are my duty, Castle.
Good comeback. But you're not my therapist.
No, I'm your friend. Am I not?
You are. No
Well,
question.
then it's either me or Rudy.
He just smiles and shakes his head. I can't keep ranting at Rudy. That's been on my mind.
Ranting at him?
Well, not at him, but
For him? To
from
him?
A, little bit of A, mostly B.
Well, can't hurt.
Can't hurt, but that's not. It's not what I want the time with you or him or anyone else I speak to be about. Granted, it's only you or him in which I could.
Well, then you're not exactly full of options, then,
I know I'm not.
Castle.
I know I'm not full of options, but it's one thing to vent when it's needed. It's another thing to always use your friends as a crutch, not a crutch, a I don't know. That person you ran to all the time. That I don't know if you've ever had a situation where you know someone and
I understand. But you will not be always using this person as a crutch, now will you? This would be your first time. And Alfred's not there to hold you up.
yeah, they are. You're right. And also, I need that extra life.
You do. Otherwise, you'll end up breaking down.
Well, I was thinking more of you're gonna dare me to do something stupid.
No. No. I'm not Gavin.
Barely know Gavin.
I don't know if that is fortunate or not.
Haven't gotten a chance to get him into my office yet. Probably should work on that.
He is quite an interesting fellow.
Oh, I know. First week here, he was in the infirmary.
Mm.
Same time I was.
That is correct. Though I was speaking mostly of his file and his past experiences, though perhaps that occasion was enough to get to know the man yourself.
It was a hell of a first impression.
He's able to do that, it seems.
Sure can. So, where do you want me to start? I was born.
If that is where the pain began.
No. Uh,
Suppose it does count as your first tears.
it's true. God, I was never one of those kids that cried a lot, though. I feel like I got most of it out as soon as I was born, and then it just stopped.
Did it now?
Until I joined the army. But I think it's understandable that anyone will cry at some point during the army. It's a given.
It is.
No one wants to admit it, but it's the truth.
A hard one.
I don't know.
Just go at your pace.
Seen everyone in my office trying to help, but there's such an influx right now that no one can get in frequently enough to really make a difference. There's a couple patients I can prioritize, keepsake and such, but
I believe you're beginning to grasp a phenomenon that is quite well known in the psychology departments of different sites.
no, I've had a feeling for it for a while now. I knew that the moment something happened, something big, I would be severely pressed. And I don't mind being pressed. Well, okay. I can live with being pressed. But these people, the ones who have seen some serious shit these past months, weeks, I can assess them, but one assessment isn't enough to determine how mentally stable or unstable they are, because there are people who are very good at hiding how they feel.
Especially when you get special projects like this one.
Right. So, who's to say I choose wrong? Who's to say I prioritize one person over another and that one person can't take it? And it hasn't happened. But what if it does?
Then you'd feel like it was your fault.
Then I'd have to live with it. And
You would.
I've had a situation in the past where I came here. And it stays with me. It stays with you wherever you go. Best you can do is call it a motivator. But let's be honest, how sick is that? My patient threw herself off a ledge. I'm gonna call that a motivator.
That sort of motivator turns into more of a fear.
Responsibility.
Something you don't want to happen again.
Right.
Something that keeps you up at night.
On top of everything else. I haven't had a good night's sleep. even before I came here. That's no secret.
Hmm.
But if it wasn't some of the things I see here that I could cite, it's... I can't sleep without having nightmares. Or I guess you could call it a nightmare.
What's in your nightmares, Castle?
I'm dying. And it's not terrible. It's every single moment. You know, when you're about to die and they say your life flashes before your eyes and you don't believe it. But then it happens. It's like that, only factor on every single moment in which I've almost died, which is a lot, given my choices and my career. And you compound that pain in. And I call it a nightmare because it wakes me up and I'm in a cold sweat. But I'm not upset by it. It's just it's just how it is. It's almost calming, I guess. It's familiar.
Hmm.
Probably should have reported it because I know how it started.
Oh.
Remember,
There was an outside cause for this?
I think so. It might be my brain making it up, or it might be actually something. Remember when we first started our truce with Camerata?
Yes.
Grim asked me, or what was it? I offered to Shake Sander. He asked me if I wanted to know something. It's been so long. The fact of the matter is, at that moment, I was like, sure, what's the worst you can do? Kill me? I didn't say that to him, but it's what was on my mind.
Another gamble.
Of course. So, I shook his hand. And that I saw it all. I saw everything. Felt everything. And it's just repeated in my head every night since that day. It's a surge of adrenaline, but not in pain. Not when I wake up. It's almost like an assurance that when it finally does happen, I'll have rehearsed it hundreds of times. So at least I know it won't hurt, or I won't have a reason to be afraid of it.
Oh. I see.
So, yeah.
Well, I won't scold you about the importance of reports.
I'm pretty good with my reports, you know that.
Just not that one thing.
Just not that one thing. As I said, I don't know if that's actually something or just my brain. I had nightmares before that.
Of
It
course.
was just a something
I
else.
understand. I understand.
I'm not trying to hide anything like that. I don't want to jeopardize anyone. I just don't need anyone more concerned than they need to be. Last thing a patient needs is to know that their therapist is having troubles.
But your friends need to know.
Well, my friends do know.
Hmm.
Or at least two of them.
Nods. So, these dreams are, well, not good. More comforting than your usual brand.
Yeah. I mean, before it was war. It's just how it is. It wasn't every night, but when it happened, I'd wake up feeling sick. And shaking and so full of anxiety. You know the brand. It's typical, diagnosable. I know it is.
When it gets to the brass tacks of those things, it's never typical.
Given the situation, it's not surprising, is what I should say.
Nods.
Something someone would go to a therapist for.
Did you?
No. No, I know. I said fuck that and got my PhD.
Hmm.
And I haven't seen a therapist since. And I'm not going to.
You refused to?
You have a lot of stubborn friends.
You're in a place of stubborn people.
I
You.
recognize. Oh, sorry, go ahead. If you can.
Oh, oh, it's all right.
What's he saying?
He was going to say you're in a place where a group of people have seen the very universe itself, its cracks, its folds, and all the things that go bump in the night. And you're with a group of people who says no to that.
And so everyone's at least a little bit stubborn.
At least a little bit.
Well, makes them sway one way, and makes sense why we get along.
Makes sense why we can work together.
There's. I don't want this to become a reason for you to have to worry about my health.
There is no need to worry about that.
Good. I recognize my flaws. I know if I have a problem.
Isn't rule number one of psychology not to analyze yourself?
Yeah, well, when you have the tools, you use them.
Hmm.
It's better to understand yourself than to run in the dark. And yes, I suppose it could be considered a biased party, being that I'm me. But it's no point in lying to yourself. It gets There's no one anywhere.
Suppose so. So why the gambles then? Is it just to save lives, or is there something deeper behind it?
I don't know if you want to know that or not.
I'm asking the question. Do you entertain the thought of being close to dying, but also close to doing something good? Are you looking for something to die for, Castle?
I have something to die for. I have a lot of things to die for. But I don't want to die. He kind of opens his mouth to speak, then closes it. But I'm going to. And I know that. It's just a matter of time before I finally kick it. You know,
All things die.
I know. Some things die sooner than they should. And he looks at Vulture and he says that.
Sometimes.
You could have all the resources in the world, and it won't save someone who just can't be saved. There are things that just can't be fixed. And I just happen to have one of those things.
Are you quite sure about that?
It's terminal illness. Vulture. It's gonna catch me. At some point.
Within the Foundation, not many things are terminal.
Guess so. But any resources put towards me, anything that is to prolong me because I was born wrong, because I was made wrong, takes away from someone else, could potentially be more efficient, be better. And that's not coming from a self-hatred point, and I don't want it to sound like it is.
I understood.
But I mean, you know how the Foundation is. They like their resources, and there's no point in wasting them.
Exactly. Assets and resources are quite important. Which makes you quite important, Castle.
But
Not just from... Hmm?
Sorry, I was going to ask, what did he say before that makes you quite important?
Oh, before he said that, assets and resources
Oh.
are quite important.
Okay, thank you.
That makes you quite important. And then he would go on to say, not just in a resource, an asset, or a name on a list, or statistics or profile sort of way, but in a much more open sort of way as well. Because with how stubborn you are, Castle, you're the one person that I've seen. Rare people that I've seen not fall into the Foundation conundrum for the uh, psychology department. You are stubborn enough to at least not see everyone as a number, as someone you have to get through as quickly as possible and move on for efficiency's sake. You still have a genuine want and need to attend to everyone, to know them and to make sure that they are all right, not just to get them back in the field again. Enough to do their work. I would go on, but I would be... Running my mouth is not the correct term, but I would be talking in circles, I suppose.
That's...
Either way, you are important to the Foundation and to everyone here. But in all scenarios, one must follow the airplane emergency scenario.
What's that?
You can't help anyone if you yourself aren't safe. You shouldn't put on someone else's oxygen mask before your own. And while you seemed to understand that death does come, I think one thing you're failing to see is that the longer you can prolong it, the more that you can do. And while resources put toward prolonging your life would and could be used for other people, the fact of the matter is you can probably touch a lot more people than what they could with one treatment.
Damn. You just come up with all that on the spot.
I am in HR for a reason, though I am off the clock right now, he says with a smile. This is as a friend, and as someone who has worked here long enough and been through enough of everything that happens here to understand things when I see it.
Been here long enough to...
I know when there are special individuals.
But you've kind of hardened yourself up too, haven't you?
This is effective.
On the outside, I suppose. But means you lose part of yourself. doing so. Because it's efficient.
I never had myself to begin with.
I would disagree. I know that you serve the Foundation first and foremost.
Stop.
But
I misspoke.
there's still you. As a person. Because you can't tell me that I am a valuable asset because I still let myself feel, despite how painful it is, despite how much it makes me angry or upset or hurt. And then not see it as something to apply to yourself, as something that you are pushing away from yourself. And I'm saying this as a friend, Vulture. That's projection.
Projection.
Yes. And I will take what you told me to heart today, because you're right. But I can't walk away from this knowing that you're still sealing yourself off the same way that you told me not to. Because it's efficient. Because you've been through an abysmal amount of shit. Not just in the past, but most recently. Everything you have been through is more than enough reason to be emotional or upset or guarded, especially guarded. And it's a reason to repress, but you're not doing that. Because repression isn't efficient. Just how many bad examples of humanity have you had to see to come to that conclusion? You've been here longer than I have. You have probably seen a lot of terrible shit. A lot of terrible people. A lot of reasons to stop caring. Not stop caring, stop letting it get to you. And in a way it is getting to you because it's caused you to change who you are. And I'm seeing less of you every single day.
This is just who I was before.
And who was I talking to before that? Because you can't tell me that it was a face, that it was just a man of the moment, because I know it wasn't. People can fake happiness like that, but I'm very good at seeing through that, and I know it was genuine. and that makes it worse.
He's been like looking at you, but not at you.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean. But when you say that, it's like his eyes kind of focus again. Worse, huh?
You got kicked in the teeth. Hard.
Literally or figuratively, he says as he kind of puts a hand kind of over his mask a little bit.
Both, probably. And you... Look. Vulture, I know you are capable of being such a caring, genuine, invested person. You are capable of listening, and you're very good at listening and giving advice. But you should also remember that it's important to take in and to know that not everything is bad. And I know you have to sometimes squint to see good things. Sometimes you have to close your eyes to see them. Because they're so hard to come by. But they're worth looking for. They are.
I know that. But I'm not supposed to.
Why?
Because that's how I was trained. Because it's what I am.
It's what someone wants you to be.
And they are all that's they are all that matters.
You matter.
When it comes.
When it comes down to it, you matter. If you have orders you need to maintain, fine. But you need to be in a state in which you can maintain them.
I am.
Not like this. Because you're not in a state like this. Vulture, you're not you at all. And that's the point, I understand. But if that's the case, why not just replace you with a robot? There's a reason they put you in this position. And part of that reason is because you're you. And there's probably something about you that they valued, aside from just whatever it is you do that things go bump in the night.
A part of it is that I can do this when when it becomes necessary.
But what is another part of it? Is it because you're good under pressure? Is it because you are persuasive and you are good at taking in the opinions of other people? Is it because you listen? Is it because you don't listen to what you don't need to listen to? All those things, anything that it could be, is a factor of you.
I don't know.
Don't need to. You don't need to know specifically what it is. And you, because of that, because you don't know, you shouldn't be trying to change yourself into something that you think they want you to be. How's Vulture doing? How's he looking?
Agitated. Not at you, just in general. Looks
Oh
like.
my fucking god, Castle!
Oh
How did
yeah.
I
Mm.
that's
That's a beautiful moment right there.
that's
That's a
I have 11 dice, Castle!
yeah. 11
I'm
successes off
very
11 steps.
upset.
Castle, I needed that luck for next
Can't
session.
shit on right now.
I'm very upset right now.
I am seeing into my boy's soul.
You
Because
are
I
seeing
need
through
to,
soul.
and he will see mine.
He is seeing into yours as well. There's this moment of clarity. The background fades away into a star field. It's just you two.
Just two dudes being guys staring deeply into each other's eyes.
Yeah, just two platonic dudes right here. Um, would you like me to go first? Would you like to go first?
1 second.
Bree's just slamming her dick down on Chance's head again and again. These rolls.
They're not going to be there when I play Nigel. This is why Nigel doesn't have good rolls.
Just Castle. All the luck goes to
It all
Castle.
goes to fucking Castle.
He and his goddamn gambles.
Castle is Roll20's favorite child.
Product.
You can go first.
The main character is Castle. Apparently. Um.
Imagine Castle and Gregory in the same room. The luck would destroy the universe.
My mind changed that to Gregory. It made me giggle.
So you see a lot of things. And he's agitated, not at you. Just in general. He's kind of losing it a little bit. Not going crazy, but he's like, you're amping him up
Mm-hmm.
a little bit with what you're saying. He's getting what you're throwing down. Part of him is rejecting it, a part of it isn't. That sort of thing. Like the internal debate
Right.
is going on. You can see he's taking words to heart. But you also see some other things. I'm going to expand a little bit further than just what you'd get with empathy because, well, he got above 10. So you get to see some other stuff. You see he's clutching at himself a little bit. Not like curling around himself or anything like that. But he's kind of like playing with like the buttons on his lab coat. The black lab coat. Kind of holding it or trying to force it tighter kind of around him a little bit. Something important to him. For reasons other than sentimental, of course. You can see that. It's doing something for him right now. And you can see that he wants it to do it more or better right now. can see his breathing has picked up a little bit. Would you get this? You also get that you're seeing a reaction from him a bit disjointed from like in the now right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like it's like if you place someone in like a peaceful sort of setting, but then you have like an earbud in their ear and just play heavy metal at random intervals, very, very loud. Right? It's like it's a
Something pulling
sudden,
him somewhere else.
almost like that, a sudden uncomfortableness from outside stimuli.
Okay.
But it's not like the same every time. Sometimes it looks like he kind of jerks like just a little bit to the left or to the right. And it's almost like he's kind of listening to something else every so often. But then keys back in on thinking about what you're talking to him about and what you're saying.
It's like another party.
Mm.
Okay.
You can also see a little bit of fear.
My baby boy.
From two things. Not only from just the situation in general, what's happening, what you guys are talking about, and him opening up and things like that, but also just because he's overspoken a little bit. This outburst, they shouldn't have happened. With some things he said, he shouldn't have said. That sort of thing. Like he's like, man, was that a boo boo? That might have been a boo boo sort of thing.
This bitch don't have that kind of clearance.
There's too many hints right now. But that's what you get.
Okay. And then the inverse.
In the inverse.
So
Because he sees not only that you saw into his soul, but he can see into yours.
yep.
And you can see that he's seeing into yours.
And he looks at me, and I
And I
look at him,
him,
and he
he
looks at
looks at
me,
me,
and I
and I
look at
look at
him.
him.
So Vulture, upon seeing Castle kind of look into him, he's able to see as Castle is emotionally very invested in trying to draw Vulture out in the most genuine of ways, where there's nothing he really can gain out of this. There's nothing he's trying to get for himself, but just by looking at him, you can tell this is something that every single session he's had with Vulture, since the incident, since the change, it has almost been compounding. And every single time he's kind of pushed it away, professionalism. That it came to a point in which he knew he had to do something, because Vulture is someone he considers very close and a very close friend. And there's regret there that he feels like, in a way, he's responsible that Vulture even got hurt in the first place. That there's guilt for all the times that he let, or was ready to let, Vulture take responsibility in situations where he shouldn't, because it's personal and close to home, but his mind just immediately went to red right hand, let him do it. And he didn't even think about Vulture as a person and how he was feeling, and that disgusts him that he was even there in that moment, because it's like he failed the core discipline of what he is. of supposing to take into account other people's emotions, especially as patients. And with 11 successes, I'd say also, with the whole bit of Vulture meaning so much to Castle, it's also because he is, and probably will for a long time be, grateful to Vulture. Because if it wasn't for Vulture, Rudy wouldn't be around, as far as he's aware.
Mm.
And that was a very defining moment for him. What else can you get? As far as Castle as a person, he is, you can tell that this entire conversation, him trying to speak more, you can tell that he immediately is kicking himself for sharing how he feels. That even though told it's okay, he feels that he has spoken too much and that he has pushed too much onto you. And that's not what it's almost like he feels like that's not what he came here to do, so why should he be speaking about himself?
Mm.
And that, what else? Just a general issue with speaking. Where he notes how Vulture worded everything so eloquently, but when he needed to really get down to it, he needed to kind of go back to his roots, and his roots are a preacher father. And so he is very much, when he drives home the point, it's very preaching, and he hates it. But it's the only way he knows how to get it done.
Right.
And so it's almost like he's wishing there was a better way for him to have gone about this, especially since after Vulture was like, gave it to him, he was like, oh fuck, I ain't gonna be able to reverse this Uno card nearly as eloquently. Anything else? I think that's pretty much the big bit of it that you could get, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let's throw it in there. It's 11 fucking successes. He managed to, he never said it, but Vulture kind of knows, I think. From the previous conversation, you could tell his gambling, why he does it. In this moment, it just kind of clicks as he's like really pushing himself, as he's showing this care that it's not only to help other people, but also so he can chalk himself up that if he goes, at least he did something else. At least he didn't die to his disease. He died to something else on his own terms. It's like he brought it himself. He had control. Yeah, I think that's places down. And in this essay, I will. And as soon as Castle kind of reads that Vulture is kind of like, shit, I said too much, he won't push any further.
Okay.
And he actually he'll reach out and kind of put his hand on Vulture's arm. Not terribly sternly, but also just like you can see him getting distracted, see him kind of being pulled away in a way, and he wants to give him something to anchor if he needs it.
He breathes a bit. And understanding and calming and a lot of things.
Mhm.
And he unbuttons his lab coat. He takes his hand from yours and he unbuttons his lab coat. And then takes it off and just leaves it on the chair behind him. He's just in his black shirt, small tie. Not a small tie, normal size tie, what am I saying? I'm
It's
a
a
fucking
mini
clown.
tie.
The mini tie. Almost a bow tie, but not a bow tie, you know?
Oh no.
One of those mini ties.
Oh, no wonder you
What
wear a
am I
coat. That's so
saying?
stupid.
Normal amount of tie there. These are my ties from when I was 10. No, a
That's
normal
my
tie.
secret, Castle. I have stupid ties.
This is why I said too much. The only reason I've been like this, Castle, is because, to be honest,
My ties shrunk in the wash.
got a bit tight around my neck, so I've just been so uptight like that.
All uptight.
Uptight. Any fucking normal tie. God damn it. You can see some of the tubing for his apparatus to keep him alive.
Mm-hmm.
Not bulging, like a bit bulging through the shirt a little bit. Not much, but enough. As he places his hand back, not on your hand, close to it,
Mm-hmm.
not initiating contact, but like it's there again. Just to not only to be like, hey, if you want, you can do that. That's fine. No homo, like that sort of thing. No.
Castle will take
Not
his
that.
hand. I got you,
He's
man.
placing there in this sort of way. He's placing there in this sort of way. It's like I didn't take my hand off of yours because I was uncomfortable. I just wanted to do my coat, like that sort of thing. I've done what I needed to do. It's here now. I'm back. I came back from the store. Don't worry.
I'm back, man. Sorry about that. No homo, though.
And with his coat off, it's almost like his uncomfortability has like turned up to 10 for a good 10 seconds
Mm-hmm.
before he breathes again, focuses on you. I recently came into thinking that, well, I am much akin to that of a loyal hound dog. I let myself have fun for a bit too long, and I was shown the error of such things. So I went back to my doghouse. That's how I saw it, at least. How I've been seeing it. And I know that's not right. But it made me feel a lot better.
Didn't leave you in the open.
Something familiar. Something to make sense of things, I suppose. Not really of a fantasy, but something.
Castle gives his hand kind of a comforting squeeze. As he kind of struggles to find words to articulate because he understands what's being said. But as Vulture definitely knows now, he's not good with words.
Who kind of shakes his head and just kind of pats your hand a little bit, like, you don't have to, don't worry. Don't worry about trying to find something, sort of sort of pat. Like, I got this. Don't worry.
I
We're on the
this.
same page. I know you're struggling. Don't worry. Don't take your time. Take your time.
Hang in there, shrink.
Take your time, and then extra little hand squeeze. Take your time and do it in the way that you want to do it. Don't be preacher. Be what you want to be.
Oh.
I'll be here. Like you, we got time. Also, just so you know, if you're in a public area, when you Vulture walked in, everyone walked out. So got your private moment. That still happens, by the way. Other than in the lab, because you have to work there. If people have to work there, they're kind of stuck there.
Right, but if
So,
they don't, they're like, oh, sorry, bye.
if you guys went to the break room, everyone gets up and leaves the break room. Food is there half eaten. Like, they're just gone.
Just imagine Vulture eating the half-eaten food now, like, thanks.
But yeah, he does the little hand squeeze. And yeah, he'll say, take your time. But how you want to word it. How do you think I got so eloquent?
Practice, I guess.
Lots of practice. And school. I think the full thing I told myself was that I let myself get a bit far from where the leash is held. And I had fun for a while. But, well,
You let yourself have something and it bit you.
fall turned to winter and the winter sorry, winter came and melted into spring. But everything had already migrated away. Things that came and left. Other animals, birds, doves, anything. They were free to go where they pleased, but I was on my leash. And it was good to remember that.
So you just stayed there.
It was better there. To remember why I was there. That I was needed there. Made more sense there. With everything.
Well, there's still things for you out there. Even if you feel that you're chained, can't go far. You're still outside. You're still there. And well, not to be too metaphorical, but spring its season of birth, change, new beginnings.
That fits into my analogy, at least. Sorry.
It's alright. Don't apologize. It's okay.
You know what? Interesting fact. I used to be confused if I had tear ducts anymore, actually, after everything that happened with this. Got emotions to, the upper part of his face.
Mhm.
I still do. Still do. I don't know if that's inconvenient or fortunate.
So it's what you make of it. I mean, I'd say it's handy.
Hmm.
You know what tears are for, right? Cleaning your eyes. If you
Very important
didn't need
function.
to have working tear ducts.
Very good.
It would be awful.
I wonder if eyes can get crusty.
I hope not. But I'm
That
thinking
would be a
about it
sight.
now.
Thank goodness we're not eating.
That wouldn't stop me.
Oh, I know that at least.
He smiles. So, I don't need to say it, but I'm going to. I'm always here. If you need someone to talk about crusty eyeballs with,
Please, we cannot describe it that way.
or ruin me eating food, or try to,
Always.
yeah, just want to make sure you know.
And I'm going to make sure you know that if you forget how important you are, I will be here to get it through your thick head.
My hero.
I don't believe it's very idiotic to inform idiots of what should be right in front of them.
Ow. See, we're pulling punches here.
Just slightly. Very slightly.
Only a little bit, I'm fine. See, my eyes, my tear ducts don't work. My eyes are crusty. You can't get me.
I don't believe that for a second.
I've never lied in my life.
That's a lie.
He makes a face of like,
Thank you.
of He gives his hand a pat. Miss talking with you.
Always. And he'll put his coat back on with a breath. His uncomfortability kind of skyrockets down to like a 0.5
Mm-hmm.
as soon as the coat is. Even as he slips his arm in it,
Mm-hmm.
you can see that he's noticeably more relaxed. There's something about that coat.
It's just real important.
No, it's beyond. You with year 11, it's beyond a sentimental value.
Mm-hmm. So, I think I have one more guess.
I was just about to say. I think we sidetracked enough.
He just thinks. And he kind of does a half smile and says, Gavin.
Wrong, actually.
Damn.
Charlie.
Really? Huh.
Yes.
He thinks. Yeah, actually, that description fits perfectly. I didn't even cross my mind.
Understandable.
I think I was too busy thinking of Charlie is completely stubborn all the time.
No, unless they're in bed with you.
Not even.
Or are you saying that they're stubborn in bed as well?
No. No, he just adjusts his hat. They're not.
They're not. I can only imagine that in the most like suave sounding. They're not.
Exactly.
As he adjusts his Ash Ketchum hat, like gotta catch them all, huh? Well, it's good that they allowed themselves some sort of expression.
Yeah, that one's on the down low.
Hmm.
So I shrugs the lost.
You did.
What's the dare? What do I gotta do?
Be open and honest. Like the last time I asked you a question again. All the time. When we're together. Should be easy enough for you.
Yeah, it should. Got yourself a deal.
Good. Well, I think it's time for me to take my leave now then.
Sounds good. He
Good call.
checks his watch. It's about time. Nick clicks and he's like, look at that. I can acknowledge the ocean now.
To get it in while you can then.
I will. Mm-hmm. Get up.
He does the same.
He nods. Have a good one, or as good of one as you can.
You too, Castle. And for what it's worth, I am quite glad that I won.
I didn't stand a chance.
You did. But I'm happy I didn't need you to win. And he will walk away at that.
It's my bro.
And with I'll let it carry over from the 11. You can see that. Well, he's definitely taking what you said to heart, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also see kind of what that game was in the background a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a cry for help. Just a little bit. See that a little bit.
Got it.
And he really wanted you kind of to win the force and to actually do something to change. But you did it with your words instead.
Vulture. Got you.
You got him. And that is where we can end.